Welcome to this tutorial on Toqan for restaurants. I'm Sean, product lead, and I'm going to take you through how Toqan works and all the things that you can do with Toqan. Perfect. On this tour, we're going to go over how Toqan can work with your complex operational data, how we can connect it into your systems, how you can go over past conversations, all the different features that we have. So stay tuned, and we'll give timestamps in case you want to skip to relevant sections. Let's get started on the home screen. You already see here a chat box up top, and then you see sharing some of the key features that Toqan has available. And we'll go over them one by one. The first feature is daily insights. Here we connect to your data sources. We update that information on a daily basis, and we provide you with key insights on a daily basis. Not insight driven, but actions driven. We want to allow you to know what are the 2-3 things that you need to solve today in order to improve your restaurants. So let's get started, and let's go there already. And you will see that I already have a dashboard set up. This dashboard refreshes every day, and we'll work a lot more on making this more action-oriented and easy to use. But what you can already do is you can already see that you have a couple of options up top. You can see that we have 6 data sources connected. So this data comes from 6 different platforms or 6 different connections that we have. I can talk to my data. So I can open a side chat here and I can ask questions like, hey, what was my most sold item last week? And this version of Toqan is able to go over your data, is going to do a complex analysis and then give me the answer that I'm looking for. We'll let this run. And in the background, you can already see that we have the ability to connect more data here. And so with this, I'll show you in a second how you can bring your own data into the system. There's a lot more effort and time that we'll spend on this to make this even easier and nicer. But today already, we're able to log into most of point of sale systems in order to get the data that you need in order to answer your questions. And you can see here, has finished its answer. And actually, I asked it the trick question because it does not yet have up-to-date data from my platforms. It only has data until April 14th. And it saw that immediately and found, hey, not only do I not have up-to-date data, but I can still answer your question just for the right data. So Toqan does really well at understanding your data, finding what's true and not just doing the classic LLM way of coming up with the best feasible answer. Now, if I wanted to use this information in my dashboard, I could simply tell Toqan, hey, what I want is on top of the dashboard to always see the most sold 3 items over the last 2 weeks. There we go. So I'm not just able to interact with Toqan to understand my data, and I can do more in-depth analyses, right? You can do analyses of what item is carrying, what item is bringing in most customers, what kind of item has the most profit margin, but what item might look like it's performing poorly, but actually it's super important for customers to come in. Maybe it's a very social item that you can kind of get a lot more customers through. Maybe Toqan can help you do forecasting and then help you do staff planning according to that. So Toqan can help you break down your allocation performance and then do staff planning. And the general idea is that Toqan can help you understand exactly where your restaurant is at and what you can do. And here you can see, I simply asked it a question, the most sold items over the last 2 weeks. And you can see I get exactly what I asked for. Now the data looks different because this is for 1 week and this is for 2 weeks. But that's how easy it is. I can customize exactly what I want to see on the dashboard. I can give it instructions if I don't like something or if there's something else that I wanted to focus on. It can easily edit all of this. All you have to do is ask. And that will be a very common pattern across all of the platform. All you need to do is ask. Is how we wanted to make sure that Toqan works for you. So I can actually tell Toqan, hey, what I really care about is staffing efficiency, right? I can tell it I care about staffing efficiency, and I always wanted to consider staffing efficiency if it's related. So I can now simply say, remember this for any future analysis in which this may be relevant. And this way, not only am I telling Toqan what I care about, but actually I'm helping Toqan grow with my restaurant, right? I'm helping it understand what I care about, what I want to know. And without me having to ask for staffing efficiency always, Toqan will remember this information about me and is now going to go and actually kind of store that in my personal memory so that when I'm asking more questions, it knows that this is happening. Here you see something that's happening a lot in Toqan, where it has the ability to create background tasks. It might take us some time to properly store this memory, and because of that, Toqan creates a task that's running in the background. You see that it's pulsing blue here. This means that Toqan is currently working on this task. When this task is black, then that means the task failed. If we complete the task will disappear. And if you need an update, the agent will tell you that the task has been completed. That's just a simple way for us to outsource some of the complexity to other systems that work in the background. But here you go. The task has been completed. And in a second, we'll get an update from the agent. Perfect. All right. Everything has been stored. Amazing. Let's go and to connect more data sources. The first thing, and here I'm going to show you something that will flesh out later with a more in-depth tutorial, is this is a place on which we will host a lot of integrations, like any point of sale system, any accounting system that we can integrate with. We will host under this button, Connect More Data. You will not have this button today. This will be rolled out over the next week or two as of June 23rd. And we'll give an updated tutorial when that's available. Today, you can already connect data by just talking to your agent. I can tell Toqan, hey, using Lightspeed, please log in and grab my daily sales data. Were not up to date. All right, there we go. So the daily sales data is now being requested from Lightspeed. Here's something important. I can essentially ask Toqan to log into a platform on my behalf. What Toqan needs to know is ideally what's the system, or even better, what's the URL that I should log into, and what do I want. Those are two important parts that Toqan needs to know. You can see here, I didn't really tell Toqan exactly where to log in, and it does really well at asking me what kind of platform I'm logging into, because Lightspeed is one of the point of sale systems that has multiple versions. And so I can now tell it, hey, I'm using the L series. Please go and log into the L series. But the more specific you are, the more useful the response will be. So there we go. Toqan is now going to spin up its own computer and it's going to allow me to log in on its behalf. And I will see that in a second. I'll just let this load for a second. Here you can see I get a link to log in, which I can open here. And you see immediately Toqan has actually opened in its own browser the Lightspeed website. Now, this is where I can log in, and as soon as I have logged in, you can simply say continue this conversation. And then Toqan will, in the background, use your login in order to get the data that you've asked for, and then store that data and give you an update. In this case, I'm not going to log in to not share any sensitive information. However, Toqan is able to get that data again if you ask for multiple different questions. Once we've logged in on your behalf, we're going to be able to log in again and again and again. Super powerful, super interesting. Just point it at the platform that you want to work with. If you find issues with any platform, please let us know. This solution is not perfect yet, and we'll work more to make it much more stable. Now, so some of you will wonder, where do your conversations go, right? Let's say one of the conversations that we've had is the conversation on the last sold items. You will be able to find all of your conversations in the chats tab. So here you will see that you have all the conversations. Actually, there's many, many more conversations in this workspace. But for example, one of the ones that we had before was the inquiry about the best-selling items. And I can continue the conversation more in depth here. I can ask more follow-up questions if I want to. This is, for me, the place to go to manage my conversations. In documents, this is a bit more documents, the idea is essentially Toqan has its own documents and folders and files that it works with. If you want any of these in order to work with them or download them, or Toqan creates a document for you and you need to access it, this is where you can find it. So document is more if you're interacting with Toqan and maybe Toqan creates for example, a graph for you or PDF, you can usually get it in this view. just go to documents and you can search for the item. But often you can also ask Toqan to just share it in the conversation and get the file that way. That wraps up Daily Insights. There's much more that's coming. So you can see we're working on a WhatsApp integration. So to allow you to get updates in the morning, but also to chat to Toqan through WhatsApp and many, many more things. But we'll give you updates when those are live. Let's move on to the next pieces. And before we go into reviews and invoice tracking, which are more automation features, let's go into market intelligence. Market intelligence allows you to do any kind of questions to understand the market around you. That can be to benchmark your menu. It can be to look for great new location opportunities. It can be to do an analysis of what are other people doing who have a lot more positive reviews, for example, or the other way around. Here's a couple of options that we already allow you to kind of look at. But what I can do now is I can simply say, hey, please benchmark my menu, please benchmark my menu. And that will allow Toqan to go and check, number one, it will check my menu. And then number two, it will check the menus of competitors and other restaurants that are in very similar locations. So I can now say, it asks me who I am, and I'll show you how you can tell Toqan in a better way who you are in a second as well. We're going to use one of our earliest test users, and we're going to say, this is me. Now Toqan is going to go and read our website, and it's going to then go and continue to do a much more in-depth competitor analysis. So it's going to go quite deep here, analyzing who else is in the region, what location we're active in, what kind of food we have, how do we compare to other places in the area. And this can oftentimes take several minutes. So I'll let this run for a bit, but we might have to cut until the task is completed, just to not look at the screen for several minutes. While all of this is going on, feel free to do anything else on the platform, and we can come back to this conversation in chats in a second as well. But I'm going to just pause the recording for now, and then we'll come back once this task has been completed. Here we go. We're about 2 minutes later, and Toqan has completed its work. Let me just close all the details of all the steps we've taken. You can see it's a fairly complicated task, but actually super interesting. Here's what we see, and we see a lot of information against the market. And Toqan highlights all the other things where we stand out or where we might want to pay attention. So this is super interesting, and we get really interesting insights here, some key takeaways, some actionable insights, etc. And maybe some of these are intentional, right? So I can say, hey, the lower price is intentional. Remember. Right, there can be very strategic decisions that you've made on how you want to stand out and how you want your offering to be different. And so it's very easy to just explain that here. And then again, Toqan is going to remember that. Now, one of the best things about the memory is that no matter where you go to chat, if you're chatting on Home or Daily Insights or the competition, Toqan remembers all these things together. So what you explain to one page is maintained on another page as well. Perfect. Now there's a much better way to store this kind of information long term, and that's under Team. Team is the page where your admin can manage the team that from your site that has access to the platform. So on here I can go and I can invite new members into the team, but I can also create a business profile. All you need to do is give us your URL to your website, which I'm just going to put in, again, the Urban Salad one, and I'm going to ask Toqan to extract updates. This may take up to a minute, and what we essentially do is go to your website, go to all your listings, go to your Google Maps. We need your website, but we can still go to your Google Maps, and then we compile a profile about who you are and what you do. We look at what's your concept, what's your business model, what locations do you have, and what does your menu look like in order to compile a holistic view on who your organization is. And then we make all of this information available in your Toqan agents as well. You can see here, we understand the business model, we understand the concept, we found the one location that Urban Salad has, and then we also go into the offering, and we even attach some brand voice images. All of these become available in these agents now. A quick way of setting up your agent. For any new restaurant starting the 23rd, we will already do this in the onboarding process, but you can always go in here, you can edit it, you can manage and change it if you want, in order to make sure it's more in line with what you're looking for. All right, so we go back to Home. By the way, on Home, you also have a chat. This chat can do anything all the other chats can do as well. So I can ask about my data here. I can ask about market intelligence data here as well. If you want a more specific experience, you can always go into the specific versions to have more targeted interactions. And then one last thing I want to show you is the Google reviews. Now, Google reviews, and I'll make a cut here because I don't have an account myself, so we recorded the demo, but I'm going to explain to you what you'll see in that demo, is a simple step of you authenticating your account. You can pick the account that manages your Google business profile, so your Google Maps listing essentially, and we can then automatically respond to the Google reviews. What you'll see is that when you sign up, you can change and manage, you can give our agent instructions of how you want us to respond, and you can continuously edit that if you want. You can allow us to automatically respond to reviews, or you can allow us only to draft responses and then you have to approve them regularly. That gives you more control, but of course then you have to spend more time on it. The way this works at the moment is that anybody who signs up here, they will manage it by themselves. So we found that many restaurants, especially with different franchises and locations, want to split the responsibility of who manages the reviews for which location. And we allow you to do that here. At the moment, it means we do not share access. That means that if you set this up, you're the only one who can see the things that you've set up. And in the setup process, you can select and manage which location you want to manage. I'll pause here. We'll cut in the video that clicks around and explains the Google reviews. Welcome to this tutorial on Toqan for restaurants. I'm Sean, product lead, and I'm going to take you through how Toqan works and all the things that you can do with Toqan. Perfect. On this tour, we're going to go over how Toqan can work with your complex operational data, how we can connect it into your systems, how you can go over past conversations, all the different features that we have. So stay tuned, and we'll give timestamps in case you want to skip to relevant sections. Let's get started on the home screen. You already see here a chat box up top, and then you see sharing some of the key features that Toqan has available. And we'll go over them. All right, and we're back from the Google reviews. And I think one important last thing to mention is that anything that you set up on any of these pages today is only available to you. For many of these pages, we do not have the ability to understand if this is information that should be shared across your organization or if it's just information relevant for you. Because we don't yet know that, we've decided to make sure that we don't by accident share sensitive and critical financial information, for example, in many different places. So today, we hold off on that. And in the near future, we're going to allow you to possibly build individual dashboards that you can then share with more people across the different organizations. That's been it for the version 1. Thank you so much, and enjoy understanding your business better with Toqan.